All right, let's jump right in. If you've been anywhere online in the last few days, you've probably seen this massive claim just blowing up everywhere. The idea that Satoshi Nakamoto's identity, only the biggest mystery in tech, has finally been revealed in some new court documents.
Yeah, headlines just like this one have been all over the place. And look, it's the kind of news that gets everyone clicking and gets markets moving. But this is a classic case of a story going viral way faster than the actual facts can catch up.
So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to do something that feels kind of rare in crypto these days. We're going to take a breath, cut through all that noise, and actually look at what the evidence says. So, what really happened?
Okay, to really get what's going on, we have to trace this whole rumor right back to the source. And it all starts with a bunch of recently unsealed legal documents from a lawsuit connected to the late financier Jeffrey Epstein.
And here it is. This is the exact spark that lit the fuse. In one of these unsealed emails, Epstein mentions a meeting where he apparently spoke with Bitcoin founders. That's it. That one word, the plural founders, is what sent the internet into an absolute frenzy. Just like that, that single word opened up the floodgates for all kinds of theories. Maybe Satoshi wasn't one person at all. Maybe it was a whole team. Or, see, someone knew who they were this whole time. The speculation just ran wild, suggesting this huge secret was known all along, just kept from the rest of us. But, and this is so important to remember, none of this is actually in the documents. It's all just interpretation.
And that brings us right to the heart of this whole thing. Let's break down exactly why this email is being so wildly misinterpreted and why it doesn't even come close to being actual proof.
So, there are three huge problems with taking this email as gospel. First off, anyone can say they talk to anyone, right? It doesn't make it true. Second, that word founders is super vague. It could easily mean early developers or well-known evangelists, not necessarily the creator, Satoshi. And third, and this is the big one, there is zip cryptographic evidence.
And this really gets to a core idea in crypto. Identity isn't proven with stories or old emails. That's just hearsay. Real, undeniable proof in this world is cryptographic. It's math. It comes down to private keys and digital signatures. It's the whole don't trust, verify ethos in action.
So what even is a cryptographic signature? Well, think of it like the ultimate unforgeable digital fingerprint. It's a unique piece of math that proves beyond any doubt that a message came from a specific person, in this case, the person holding Satoshi's original keys, and that the message hasn't been messed with. It's ironclad.
Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but what about all the blacked out stuff, the redactions? People jumped on that as proof that something huge was being hidden. But assuming there's a conspiracy behind every redaction is a classic trap. Courts black out information for all sorts of boring standard legal reasons, like privacy. It's usually not the smoking gun you're hoping for.
Okay, so if the evidence is this flimsy, why on earth did this story spread like wildfire? Well, let's dig into that. Because the crypto world itself is kind of uniquely built for these kinds of rumors to just take off.
It's really like a perfect storm. You've got three key things that make the crypto space a tinderbox for this stuff. First, anonymous founders. That creates this huge information vacuum that people are just dying to fill with theories. Second, Bitcoin has this epic myth-level origin story, so of course we all want a dramatic, movie-style reveal. And finally, you have markets that are driven by narratives, which means there's a real financial incentive for rumors to spread, whether they're true or not.
We even saw prediction markets start moving based on this news. But it is so vital to understand what that actually means. Prediction markets don't price truth, they price belief and attention. A sudden flood of interest in a rumor will move the odds, even if there's no real verification behind it. It's a reaction to the hype, not a confirmation of the facts.
So that brings us to the million Bitcoin question, right? If an email isn't proof, what is? Let's lay out the gold standard. What would it actually take to prove Satoshi's identity, beyond a shadow of a doubt?
When you boil it all down, there are really only three ways this could ever happen. 1. Move some Bitcoin from one of the earliest wallets that we know belonged to Satoshi. 2. Use one of Satoshi's original private keys to sign a brand new message, something like, I am Satoshi. Or 3. Provide some other kind of verifiable cryptographic proof that only the real creator could possibly have. That's it. That's the list.
So let's be crystal clear about this. Emails, secondhand stories, even fancy-looking legal documents. They just do not meet this incredibly high standard. They are not, and they cannot be the definitive proof we're all looking for. Not even close.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this?
This whole episode isn't really about a specific email or secret. It's a fantastic, real-time case study in the battle between a good story and hard evidence.
I mean, what we've all just watched play out is a perfect example of how a compelling narrative can just take on a life of its own and race around the world, especially when the evidence is thin and the topic is something everyone's passionate about. We want the mystery to be solved, and that desire can make us jump to conclusions.
And that really leads us to the bottom line, the one simple truth that cuts through all the noise and speculation. Until we see that hard, cryptographic proof, Satoshi Nakamoto remains unknown, a ghost in the machine. End of story.
And you know, that leaves us with one last really fascinating question to chew on. Is this constant uncertainty about Satoshi's identity a fundamental flaw, a bug in the system? Or is the fact that the creator's identity literally doesn't matter for the network to run actually Bitcoin's single greatest feature?